Hey guys, and welcome back. If you don't know who I am, I'm Angelica Nagy, and this is a literary Odyssey where we talk about books and pretty much anything else that I want to talk about. So, first off, I want to say I'm sorry for my voice. I am a little bit sick, but I still feel like these videos are important and I still want to carry them out, sickness or not. So today, the book that we'll be talking about is Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you watched my month in review, you know that this was one of the books that I wanted to read in the month of March because I stated in my month in review that I want to step away a little bit from novels and focus heavily on nonfiction and personal growth books. So, Atomic Habits is a very popular book about how to create habits and how to eliminate bad habits. And one thing I took away from this book is that he provides 4 strategies for creating a habit and then reverses those strategies to eliminate a bad habit. And what I mean by that is one of the 4 strategies to creating a habit is making the habit that you want obvious, which means setting the thing out you want to do, like taking your multivitamins, setting it on the sink. Whereas if you wanted to break a habit, let's say smoking, instead of making it obvious, you make it invisible. So instead of having your cigarettes readily available by you, you make it invisible by just not buying them, or if you don't want to go that extreme yet, you can put them in a cabinet or a drawer. In other words, you're making the cue invisible. Another strategy out of the 4 is making it attractive. So if you want to journal more, you would find a beautiful, attractive journal, something that speaks to you. Or if you wanted to pick up playing a guitar, you would spend the money on a guitar that feels right for you, that speaks to you. And on the flip side, to break a habit, instead of making it attractive, you make it unattractive. If you, let's say suck your thumb, you would make it unattractive by doing it in public. And then you would get the criticism or the weird looks from people around you, which would kind of want you to stop doing it. So I don't want to go too much into the strategies because I really, really want you to pick up this book. I definitely gave it 5 stars out of 5 on Goodreads. I can sit here and quote this book all day. I mean, this book is filled with a ton of highlights. I went to town with an highlighter. And I will give you one quote that kind of like really, really stuck out to me. If you're having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your systems. Bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system of change. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And this really spoke to me because ever since I got out of the military 8 years ago, I have packed on a bit of weight, and I found it very, very hard to take this weight off. And so I've had the motivation, I've had the drive, this is my goal, but I have failed countless times, and I would always beat myself up thinking, why? I have all this motivation, I want to do all of this, I don't want to fail, why am I failing? And it's because of my systems. I'm not creating systems to succeed, like meal prepping, going to sleep in my gym clothes so I actually wake up and I have no choice, wanting to drink 8 cups of water a day. You know, my systems aren't set up to where I either have a timer on my phone to go off, or I put water bottles in different areas that I know I'm going to go to drink water. So it is not about what you want, because we all want something, but majority of the time we don't achieve it. It's because we don't set the systems in place to achieve it. Another thing he talks about that I thought was amazing was this 1% concept. You improve 1% a day. So if you wanted to run more or be a better runner, you will look at your system of running and try to improve it 1% a day, such as buying new running shoes or getting a water bottle if you don't have one, because you know you have to be hydrated as a runner. Watching videos on how to do the proper posture when you run. So 1% seems like, oh, that's not going to make a significant difference. But if you do 1% over a year, by the end of the year, you would have improved 365% of yourself than what you were at the beginning of the year. So it kind of makes sense. So what he does in this habit book is talks about the small steps. Now, I can't sit here and give this book enough justice because it really, really is a good book. And I like the fact that he provides strategies that we can morph or alter to ourselves. He doesn't give us a specific thing like you have to track this way and at this time. No, he just says you need to track. And so you yourself find that way in your life that works for you to track your habits, if that makes sense. One more thing that I thought was very, very interesting about this book is he talks about identity. Setting our goals or setting a goal is not to reach an accomplishment, but to reach an identity. And what that means is, say, for example, you want to read a book. Your goal is not really to read a book, but your goal is to identify as a reader. If you wanted to run a triathlon or run a 10K, your goal is not to run, but your goal is to identify as a runner. And so it makes a lot of sense because once you create an identity, you create goals around that identity. So the identity I constantly want to project is a healthy individual who takes care of their mental health, their physical health, their emotional health. And because I identify as that, it becomes almost automatic to create habits in my daily life that associate with that identity. Like waking up in the morning and drinking water, because we know healthy people drink water. Waking up and drinking a green juice out of vegetables. Why? Healthy people eat vegetables. So if you wanted to identify as an artist, you would create goals around that, but ultimately your goal is to identify as an artist, not to create an art piece, if that makes sense. So like I said, I can't give enough justice to this book, and I really hope that you guys pick it up. It is definitely one of those books that you can constantly go back to, refer to, and even read multiple times, because I plan on constantly going back to this book, referencing it whenever I meal plan or goal plan or whatever it is, or if I want to create a new beneficial system that works for me. I know that I'm going to constantly go back to this book. So with that being said, pick up Atomic Habits by James Clear. You won't regret it. And until next time, happy reading.